This is not going to work. Hey everyone, Tony Winston here, Jazz Piano College. Going to cover the song Misty by request. The sheet music is down there in the description. I'm going to go over the chords and the melody, but mostly I'm just going to give you a couple of ideas that popped into my head about arranging this song for solo piano. And I have an easier video about this in the key of C. So if you're more of a beginner and you want to see the keys light up with chordy, I will link to that video as well. But I'm going to link to my favorite recording of this song is by one of my competitors, Jeremy Siskind. And he's really more of a friend than a competitor, but he's got a great YouTube channel. And I would encourage you to go check his channel out because, one, he's just a fantastic piano player. He's really one of the top guys out there, in my opinion, right now. And he's also a great educator, and he's written a few books, so go check him out. His version of Misty is really great, and, I got a few ideas from it, and, I'm going to study that recording because he really does some great things, and he covers a few good styles, too, that I really like. Like he channels Art Tatum, and I think Fred Hirsch a little bit. So, you don't get better than that. All right, let's check out the song. You could start off with some really rich B-flat chords, put the flat 9 in, take that, and move it down by a minor third, right? Because anything that's kind of built on the diminished idea, see, there's a diminished chord in there, you can move that in minor thirds. And it just so happens that it follows the melody. And then we're going to E flat, diminished. And then resolve it like that. Now you can think of this as a D triad over an E flat. Sometimes that makes it easier to find quickly on the piano. Another thing you could do would be A minor, D, to E flat, and this works for It Had to Be You as well. All right. Now let me just play a little bit of the intro and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so far, started on the E flat and did some drop 2 here. I mean, anytime you're going up the scale, especially on a minor chord or a major chord, dominant chords work too, but they're just a little trickier, and at least in my experience. So I'm going to B flat, so I just went there a little bit early. B flat, all right, here's the B flat, all right. And drop 2, of course, is where you take the second note from the top, not the melody, but the note right underneath it, drop it down an octave, and then get rid of the octave as well, so bass down. Of course, you could always approach a dominant chord just a half step above. It's kind of like a tritone substitution, not exactly, but same kind of idea. So one thing I heard Jeremy Siskind do is, and I think this is what it was, he goes to A flat minor major 7th. So instead of just a minor 7th, puts the major 7th in. All right, that's kind of, a typical kind of reharmed, go to D flat. But what I think he did was move 2 notes up like that. All right, and that's a pretty rough chord there, but as long as you resolve it nicely, it sounds pretty good. At least I think that's what it was, all right? I would love Jeremy to, come on the YouTube there and explain some of the stuff he did in there, because it is a terrific recording. All right, now we're going to see. And, if we take our melody down like that, anytime you're going down chromatically, you can consider that cycle of fifths because, right? Because the guide tones are the same. Guide tones are sevenths and thirds, right? So next step in cycle of fifths, A flat, but tritone substitution gives us that, so that's cycle of fifths also. So what can we do here? All right, we can do a dominant. We want to do dominant chords, basically. And our melody note is that, so that's like a, sharp 11. So we'll put a sharp 9 in as well. All right, then the D flat, that's a 13, so let's add a 9 and a sharp 11. And then even the C minor we can make as a dominant chord. And that would be a sharp 9. We could add the flat 9. Then going to F minor, same idea as before. We're going to take drop 2. All right. We could probably get to that G7 the same way, like. All right. And one little thing I heard Jeremy do is on that G7 chord, he did this scale. Right? And that's a whole tone scale. It's something I don't use nearly enough, I think. You listen to Art Tatum, he's all about the dominant 7th chord with the flat 5. And, if you take that through the cycle, it really starts to suggest the whole tone scale quite a lot. Anyway, he did something like this. And then, I don't know how he came down on C. I'm going to do it like this. All right, well, what was that? I don't know, just a silly idea I came up with. But these are like what I would call pianistic ideas. Not so much jazz ideas, but piano ideas. I mean, the piano can do things that no other instrument can do, all right? Many, many things. We can run way, way up the keyboard or way, way down and just do things that are basically impossible on other instruments. So take advantage of that. I did that same little chord that I used in the beginning, like that, did it with my right hand, and then I took it down a minor third, like you can do, but I did that with my other hand, so C. All right, I don't know if I even like that idea, but, that's just an idea of, doing more pianistic ideas. We're going to F9, of course, with just an F7th chord. All right, and this is a 3, 6, 2, 5. So, I mean, you can do so many different things there. And there's no melody going on at that point either. It's just holding that one note, so, you can put some improv in there. Somebody asked me the other day, where do you get the ideas for the melodies? I mean, how do you come up with melodies to improvise with? Just from music. You listen to a lot of music. Now, if you're just listening to Top 40 radio, you're not going to hear any melodies that are going to stick with you, that are going to be useful for jazz improvisation. Popular music just isn't being written that way anymore. So, you need to play a lot of songs, maybe from musicals, The Sound of Music, play classical music. I mean, the melodies in classical music are the best. Bach, Beethoven, Chopin, Tchaikovsky. Play some of that. Just if you're not a great piano player, just find the easiest pieces you can. The melodies are still great, and just learn the right hand if you want to. Those are great melodies, and as you play them and as you listen to them, they get into your head, and eventually you find the way to get them to come out through your fingers. That's the best I can help you with there. There's no secret formula or anything. All right, I'm lost. Where the hell are we? All right, so we go through the A section again. Put little things in between, even right at the beginning, And Jeremy did something with like maybe the A flat chord or something. And I heard something I've never heard anybody else do, which is like put a little bit of like the C major in there or somehow. Right? Something like that. Anyway, I'm gonna figure that out, and I'm gonna explain it to you all in some future video if I can figure it out. All right, let's get to the bridge. Great way to get in there. All right, is just to use the block chords, diminished, back to the basic chord, and then a diminished going into B flat. Now drop 2 works great here too, and look what happens. The 6th chord, right? E flat 6, same as C minor 7th, same notes. And if you drop the 2 down to there and take the doubled note away, you get it looks like a C minor. So go up like that. Then jump to the next one, and then diminished. That minor major 7th in there, and then all right, now what is that? All right, A is a tritone away from E flat. It's a dominant chord, so even the whole triad will work. I think Jeremy did something like thirds there, and then did some other thirds too. I don't know, you can move major thirds around in some very interesting ways. It's kind of a classical device even. Now, a friend of mine once said, I get tired of hearing all those diminished chords when I'm doing that. So, you don't always have to use the diminished chord. Like take C major. You can just go like that. You don't have to use any diminished chords at all, right? So let's do that on A flat. All right, so I just took the A flat chord, just adjusted it for the melody. Well, not really, A flat 6 is what they're calling for. A flat 6th, make it the major 7th, like the same kind of, sounds just as good, right? And then A minor. I always wondered about this F7 chord because in the old chart it went to G minor, and I just never liked that, but I like going to B flat. It's the cycle of fifths. What's not to like? All right, I've been experimenting with different pentatonics on diminished chords, but I'm not quite ready to get into that. Yeah. The other place I remember hearing that where you're basically following the chord, but you're throwing a few notes that are a little bit out of key. Like that E doesn't really belong, but it's nice. I heard somebody once on the Over the Rainbow, and did it this way. See, instead of that note, they got this one in there. This gives it a weird kind of sound. I love it. All right. got to the F minor just by doing a 2-5-1. There it is, folks. Misty. Charts down in the description. I do thank you for your support. It's the first of the month, and I always like the first of the month because that's when that's when all my supporters on Patreon get charged their monthly, whatever it is that they signed up for. And, on my Patreon channel, it's not like you have different levels or anything. I mean, you can get on there for $1 a month. I think you could even get on there for free, but not everything is visible if you're a free member. But I put up a public thing on Patreon this morning. So really, the YouTube algorithm has been very painful lately. It's just, I haven't had any viral videos lately, so that income has gone way, way down. But the people that support me over on Patreon are really the ones keeping this channel alive. So I really greatly appreciate that financial support that those people are giving me. And so anyway, if you want to become a member, you don't get a whole lot over there. It's just kind of a way to support the channel. I do put up a few things that never make it to YouTube, but that's pretty rare. But I take requests very seriously over there. So if there's anything you want me to cover, I always go to those requests first. However, you can request things right here on YouTube. Just put it in the comments. Write the word request if you would, because that way I can search for it and find it. And in fact, recently I got a request for this song, Zingaro, by Antonio Carlos Jobim, and I'm going to cover that one next. But so thank you for all your support, everyone, and I will see you again with this great song, Zingaro.